Official. This is my last video in my off-season series. It might be two parts. I don't know how long I'm going to talk about all this. But we have officially finished 5 years in the league. So I'm going to go through and rank you all. It's the video no one asked for, but you are now all patiently awaiting. I'm going to get right into it, but basically just whoever I think has been the worst cumulatively over the past 5 seasons starts at 14, and we work our way all the way to who I think is the current GOAT of our league at number 1. There might be a couple people upset about their rankings, but you'll get over it. This is all completely my opinion based on a little bit of factual background, as you will see. Let's get into it. And yes, to no one's surprise at all, in 14th place is Mr. Adam Sutton. This motherfucker sucks at fantasy football. Love having him in the group. Saw him in Mad Hatter last weekend. Beautiful. Love it. Not good at fantasy football. His best finish by far was the very first season when we only had 12 people. He finished 5th. That was also his only playoff appearance. He lost first round of the playoffs that year. And he's 10 games under 500 all time. Not much else to say here other than Adam Sutton's just bad. This is pretty much a consensus pick here. Next is Scott. I think he has the exact same stats as Sutton. 1 playoff appearance, 1 5th place, and then shit. Obviously, I fucked up the total finishes because he did come in 14th at one point, so ignore that. One of those finishes is actually a 14th, but you see my point. He had a good year this year where he had the number 1 overall regular season record, lost playoffs, lost 3rd place game, which 3rd place game I'm counting as a playoff game because it is for money, so I'm counting it as a playoff game. But Scott, he's got a loss under his belt. He's got a lot of missed playoffs. He hasn't won a playoff game. He's 6 games under 500 all time. He's an OG league member, and to not have a playoff win and only 1 playoff appearance in 5 seasons in this league is shoddy. But he's trending upwards. This was a good step in the right direction for Team Scott. All right, next, Makosi, the first of our newer members. He's only been in the league for 4 years instead of 5. It gives him a little bit of a buffer, I'd say, over Scott. He's almost at a 500 record. He also has a 5th place finish along with Sutton and Scott, but he also has another playoff appearance. That's what's putting him over Scott, and that's what's putting him over Sutton. That 2nd playoff appearance. Granted, same playoff record as Scott, but still. Again, not much else to say here. We are still at the very bottom of the barrel. These 3 are probably not... you can't really argue about these 3. They're very bad. And then another one that I don't think you can argue is Rag. I think he's a pretty clear next step after Makosi. I think Makosi could argue that he's been better than Rag. He's got a 5th place and a 7th place. Rag has a 6 and a 7. Ha! Fuck me. But, I just put Rag here because he's an OG league member, I guess. I don't really know. Looking back on it, Makosi probably should be ahead of Rag, but it's fine. Rag's in 11th. Little bias there for Rag. Same shit though. 2 playoff appearances, 2 losses in those playoff appearances. I probably put Makosi ahead because he'd made the playoffs way more recently. Rag finished 11th his first year, 9th the most recent year. That's how I'm doing it. So Rag, 11th. You're bad. You're horrendous. You finished 2nd to last twice. Yeah, you should have been below Makosi. You finished 2nd to last twice. The 11 is 2nd to last. The 13 is 2nd to last. 2 playoff appearances where you did nothing, and now in 9th place. Horrible fantasy player. 10th place. This is where it starts getting like, okay, we can kind of see it. Hayden, bad overall record. What's keeping him out of higher in the top 10 talks is his loss, and then his 13th place. So first couple of years, playoff team, didn't do anything, lost the league, then went 1-1 in the playoffs, losing after a bye, and then winning in the 3rd place game. The 3rd place game is his only playoff win. He's one of 2 people to have that happen. Yeah, just not a good team. Not a good history. Yeah, you can't come in last. That's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt other people in the future, as you'll see. Number 9, Cal. He is a new member of the league. Some people might not agree with this positioning, but I think Cal has acquitted himself very well in the league so far. 2 out of the 3 years he's made the playoffs. He got to a third-place game. Granted, that involved him losing after a bye, but still. So I'm just doing it purely off made the playoffs 2 out of 3 years, and that overall record is very impressive. 10 wins above 500. That's one of the best out there. I think only behind me and Clay. If Hayden hadn't lost the league once, Hayden probably would have jumped Cal, but not losing the league and getting a 4th place and then a 2nd playoff appearance, pretty impressive from Cal, especially for someone who uncategorically does not know ball. That's pretty impressive. All right, and the last team in this first video, I'm going to split it up 14th through 8th and then 7th through 1. Ishan. This was a tough cut out of the top 7, I will say. Especially coming off a 2nd place finish. But the loss really hurts, I will say. You probably would have jumped the next person if you hadn't had that loss under your belt. But this is more impressive than Cal. A 500 record over 5 seasons is very good. Not many. I think only a couple people have a better record than that. 3 playoff appearances, and 2 playoff wins. They both were this year, but still, very impressive. So, yeah, Ish, trending, as I said, trending. A 12th and a last place, an 11th, and then playoff, 2nd place. It's looking good for Ish, and he comes in at number 8. I don't think I made a lot of mistakes in this bottom half. I think the top half gets way more competitive and a little more. Ish is clearly number 8. He clearly belongs with that top group. Cal, Rag, Hayden, or Cal and Hayden, you start talking a little bit, and then Rag and Makosa, you maybe start talking a little bit, and then Scott and Sutton are so far down there. But yeah, I will regroup and see you in part 2. All right, part dos. We're coming in with the top 7. This is where it's going to get contentious. I asked people today, where do you think people are listed? The only thing people pretty much got right was that Sutton was going to be last, to be fair, which is a pretty easy call. But now we'll get right into it with number 7. Wow. Number 7 goes to Mr. Clay, our favorite Bayou lawyer. This was a tough one. He has the regular season record. He just doesn't have the playoff pedigree that some of these other teams have. I will say 7-6. The next person, we're very, very close. Clay, 2nd best record in the history of the league, 41-29. Very impressive. 3 playoff appearances. Honestly, to have that good of a record and only 3 playoff appearances is impressive. He has 1 playoff win. That was the 3rd place game in the very first season of the league. Not great, but we're playing for money. You have to count that as a playoff win. Fight me, whatever. It's a playoff win. You got there. It counts, whatever. But that was so long ago. He went through a down spot in the middle and then 5th and 5th, which 5th place doesn't really mean anything. That just means you had the best record out of the 3 teams that lost in the first round, I think. So 5th place, 7th place, doesn't really mean anything. But those are the standings that they gave. So Clay coming in at 7, a real pillar of this league, consistently in the playoffs, consistently amazing in the regular season. I think he has a regular season championship or 2. So fantastic showing so far in this first half decade of the league. All right, next up is me. Like I said, me and Clay have pretty similar outlook so far. I'm 1 game better than him. I do have the best record in the history of this league, which is not a flex because I've never won or even gotten to the championship. So I have by far the best record. Don't have the accolades. But I also have the most playoff appearances and don't have the accolades. So Choke job, absolutely. Both of my playoff wins came this year. I won in the first round, and then I beat Scott in the third place game. I think I have the most consistent finishes: 4th, 13th, 5th, 4th, 3rd. That 13, just ignore it. That was a bad year. But I'm consistently getting to that semifinal. Just can't fucking win it. God, it's horrible. But I do think I have a better resume than Clay by a little bit. I have a better resume than Ish by a little bit. And I just don't think I can cut it with those top 5 guys. So I think I'm right out of the top 5. Very much sucks for Kamish to be here. Best record, most playoff appearances out of everyone. Obviously, most playoff losses out of everyone. Actually, that might not be true. Whatever. But yeah, it sucks. I don't know if this is a good video idea, but I had a lot of fun doing the research for it, so you guys are going to fucking watch with me, baby. Coming in at number 5, Kyle Mashel. This is the first... We went for me and Clay with the good regular season records. This is our playoff guy, I think. He's got 3 playoff appearances. He's got a 2nd place. He's got a 3rd place. He fell off pretty hard in the middle, but he fought back in the playoffs this year. He has an overall winning record, which not many people ahead of him can say. Just a really sturdy record. I think if Kyle had a championship, he would be easily top 3. Let's just say that. Not much else to say here. This guy just hangs around. He got to the championship game once, which is more than you can say about me, which is more than you can say about Clay. Only 5 people have ever gotten to the championship game, maybe 6 people, because each got to 1. So it's hard to do. Very hard to do. Well done, Mash. Number 5. Number 4. The first of our winners to pop up. It is Pushan. I mean, this is what we're gonna have to get into with the 4 winners. So we have 4 winners. My immediate thought process was Pushan is by far the worst because he's lost the league. But then I was like, well, Brett's the worst because he's lost the league too. But then I was like, well, Brett has 2. So Brett has to be above Pushan because he's got 2 and lost the league. So Pushan's the worst winner we've had. He's got a 9th place finish. He's got a 12th place finish. And he's got a 14th place finish. Those are Sutton numbers up there. He did get the 3rd, which is how he got to the playoff wins. He went 1-1 in the playoffs that year. He got 3rd. And then he lost the league and then came back and won it. So 3 of his playoff wins were from this year. He has an overall losing record. Bad. I think the only winner... Oh, no, Brett has a losing record, too. Okay, only 2 of our... I think Rob is the only winner with a fucking winning record, and that pisses me off. But Pushan, I'm not going to lie, bud. If you didn't win this year, you were going to be... It was you and Sutton at the bottom. That's why you're the last place winner here. But now we get into the top 3. Congratulations, Pushan, on joining the Mount Rushmore of this league, as I think Brett said. Number 3, I think we all knew where this was going. There's 2 tiers to the winners. It's Pushan and Briggs, and then it's Brett and Rob. Brett and Rob are the top 2, no doubters. Thomas is number 3. Only 2 playoff appearances like Pushan. A similar record to Pushan, 3-1 versus 4-1. He has a better regular season record by a couple games. But what it came down to, Thomas Briggs did not lose the league. He's had 3 very, very bad seasons. In 4th place, obviously, is not as impressive as 3rd. But the ability to not lose the league. I'm putting a lot on, if you've lost the league, I'm dropping you a lot of points because that's embarrassing. And I'm also giving a lot of credit to the wins too. They're my top 4. They're my Mount Rushmore. But when it comes down to it, Pushan and Thomas have almost identical resumes, but Thomas hasn't lost. He came in 12th. That's not a loss. So Thomas is a top 3. He's easily top 3 in this league all time for me because of that win. Him and Pushan are really banking on that win. And unless they get another, and if new people keep coming in, these 2 will continuously slide down. Unless it's like Sutton that wins. But yeah, Thomas, number 3. Honestly, one of the easier calls for me. And I think some of us knew it was coming. I don't think Brett knew it was coming. Number 2, Brett Reinke. These two are tough. These two are far and away the best two in the league. Pushan, Thomas, Maish, me, we can't sniff them. They're so far above us. But when it comes down to it, Brett's 8 games below 500 all time. He's only got 2 playoff appearances, one of which he was 6-8 and shouldn't have made it in now that we understand the tiebreakers. Hand up, commish moment. I didn't understand the tiebreakers. It took me and Rag a full year to understand them. We only figured them out this year. He also, and what the deal breaker is, he's lost the league. 2 wins, you don't even worry if all the other finishes are number 12 or 13, like Thomas's. But you can't lose the league. You can't win 9th, asterisk win, lose. If Brett had come in 13th this year, I wouldn't have even considered dropping him below Rob. But you can't lose the league. Brett's an impressive playoff fantasy guy. He's not an impressive overall fantasy player in the regular season. That's it. You can't lose the league. You can't sneak in. You can't have a championship where you get in on a commissioner mistake and then lose the league the next year. It does not help your fraud narrative. Sorry, Brett. You are the second best player of all time, and that is why I've been using the hashtag #NotMyGOAT all season, unfortunately. But also, unfortunately for me, that means Mr. Rob Hodge is the GOAT of our league. A winning record, 4 games above 500. He's been in the playoffs 3 years. Same thing as Brett. When he gets to the playoffs, he's cash money. 7-2. Only losses in the playoffs have been in the championships. Another reason I was considering Brett over Rob still is that championship happened when we were in like middle school. 2021 is so long ago. But even in his down years, he hasn't had a double-digit place finish. Every time he gets to the playoffs, he makes it a championship game. He has the most playoff wins in the history of the league. I think the win is holding him up, and Brett's loss is holding Brett down to where the resume of this guy, Rob, he's got 13 more all-time wins than Brett in the regular season. That's a big number. So yeah, I think unfortunately Rob Hodge is the GOAT of our league. I think if like Maish or me or Clay wins next year, we might be coming for that throne. If Rob loses, he's fallen.